Around this time of year, we're reflecting on the year that we had, and we're gearing up for the next year, possibly goal setting, possibly thinking of the resolutions that we're going to take on next year. But what if I told you I could predict if you're going to succeed or fail? Would it save you some energy? Perhaps would you put things in place to ensure your success? Now, what if I said this is not hypothetical, but I can predict your success or failure, and you can too, based on these 5 things. Hey, I'm Shari K, and around here we discuss personal development and personal finances to help you live a full, wealthy life. Please do me a favor. Make sure you massage that thumbs up button. That really helps me out here on YouTube. Okay, so in this video, I'll reveal the 5 things that will predict your success or failure. I'll provide you an example of how you can use them to help you reach your intended outcome. By the end of the video, you'll be able to take the 5 things and apply them to any endeavor and just get your life all the way together for the upcoming year or remainder of this year. Now, success and failure can be predicted on these 5 things. At the core, it's your programming. Or another word you could say for this is your identity.
Who are you?
What has been programmed into you, or what things have you heard as a child or even as an adult that affect your internal belief of who you think you are? Going into this, we're going to use the example of getting out of debt, becoming debt-free. So with this program and this identity, if you are getting out of debt, becoming debt-free, who are you? What is your identity at this point? The way that we retain things, the way that we can tap into this programming is pretty much by repetition. The thing that I like to do is to create affirmations. So here are some example affirmations for getting out of debt. You would say, I am on the path to becoming debt-free. I am the type of person that pays off my debts. I control my level of debt. My best life is a debt-free life. I am committed to living a debt-free life. You would say things to yourself like that, or write things like that down in order to have that repetition of, this is now my identity. You can even go a step further and say that I am debt-free. Now that may or may not help your situation. For me, it wouldn't be if I were in debt, that would not be congruent to me and I would not believe it. So I know sometimes with this affirmation, they want you to say that I am statements, and try it, do it. If it works for you, great. But if you find that there's still that resistance in your head because you know, like, I got like $30,000 worth of debt. Boo, I'm still in debt. And saying I am debt free does not resonate with you, don't use it. Just, I am on the path to becoming debt free. Okay, so moving to the level beyond the identity, beyond the programming, is the belief. Now, for our situation, what do you believe about debt? Do you believe that debt is just a part of life and you'll always be in debt? Now, if that's your belief, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that that's true. So if that's what you believe, that's what everything around you is going to show up and prove that belief true. Now, a belief that would serve you better, I suggest, I believe I can create a plan and stick to a plan to get out of debt. I believe I can get out of debt. This has to, not only do you have to say this, but this has to be on the inside what you actually believe is possible for yourself. Now, a layer beyond belief is your attitude. And this is simply, what is your attitude about paying off debt and becoming debt free? Is it favorable or is it unfavorable? Are you going down flow or are you hitting resistance? Now, a lot of times you will hit resistance with things that are challenging. And that's okay. Actually work through that resistance to see what is stopping you from having a favorable attitude toward this endeavor that you say you want to reach. If you say you want to become debt free, why are you resisting that? And then you can dial back into possibly it's something with your belief, and then possibly it's something with your programming or your identity. And then after your attitude is your feelings. Now, this, like I said, it's a layering. So your identity, your belief, your attitude, will all those things are going to affect how you feel about it. So how do you feel about becoming debt free? Now, we know it might not happen in 1 year, but if you set up a plan, do you think you could become debt free in about 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 or less? I'm sure you could. Now, what feelings do you bring to the endeavor of becoming debt free? Is there guilt and shame for all the debt you've already racked up? Are you at a neutral state? Are you feeling grateful now you're about to actually handle this debt that has been building up for so long? Tap into that. Tap into those feelings of how you will feel once this endeavor is undertaken. And not only that, don't skip the feeling of going through the process. Because if you hate the feeling of going through the process, it's going to bring you down. So in our example of getting out of debt, the feeling that we want to tap into going through the process is gratefulness. I am grateful that I have the funds, I have the money to put toward my debt. I'm grateful that I am setting myself up for a positive financial future. Your belief, your attitude, your feelings all play a part in your behavior. So now that you know you want to get out of debt, what will you do? What are you going to do now? One, you're going to know how much debt you have. So one of your behaviors is you're going to look up and see exactly to the penny how much debt do you owe. Two, you are going to know how much money you can put towards your debt on a monthly basis, on a pay period basis, on a whatever basis you come up with. You're going to know that number. That's a behavior because that's something that you have to do. The third one is you're going to be in agreement not to get into any more debt. The fourth one is you're going to pick a debt payoff method. I have 2 examples here. You could pick the one where you start with the highest interest rate, or you could pick the one where you start with the highest balance. The next step is you are going to write down your plan. You are going to write down your plan. You're going to commit this plan. You're going to write it down. You're more likely to succeed if you have a plan that you write down. You're going to follow up. We're not going to set your plan in place and just let it play out. No, you're going to check back with your plan. Did you pay this debt off like you said you would? Is your balance going down like you thought it would? You're going to, along with follow up, you're tracking. So you're tracking how your debt is getting eliminated. And then you're going to set up little rewards. This is just the fun part. Reward yourself. You're doing the hard work of becoming debt free. Make sure you have some rewards in there. So those would be some steps that you would take, some behaviors that you would change if you are debt free, if you are becoming debt free. You are the type of person that no longer racks up debt. So you're going to behave in such a way. Now, I use the example of how to get out of debt for this, but these steps, these 5 things, you can literally apply them to any endeavor that you want to create, or even any endeavor that you want to stop. So say that it's something that's bringing you down and you want to stop it. Say you're consuming too much sugar. So you want to change that behavior. You want to consume less sugar. Just plug these in. Your programming, what's that going to be? Your belief, what's your belief about this? Your attitude, your feelings, and your behavior, your actions, your habits. What are you going to do now? Just plug that into there, and you will, if you are adhering to the things that you have under these behavior, feelings, attitude, belief, programming, you can predict your success and failure in that endeavor. Now, in this video, I've discussed the 5 things that predict your success and failure. We use the example of getting out of debt. And now you should be able to take this and apply it to any endeavor to set yourself up right for the upcoming year or remainder of this year. All the best to you in your health, finances, relationships, and in your contribution to this world.